Hey, it's me, Nalthazar, and welcome to another Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the two exclusives that came into the vault with the introduction of new Capenna. So, the new mono-white Planeswalker, Elspeth Resplendent, and the new Mythic exclusive, Halo Fountain. So, let's get into it. Now, I'm going to be doing both of these together in the same video because they play very well together. Halo Fountain being a white gem converter, and Elspeth being a mono-white planeswalker. So, first up for Elspeth. Elspeth is currently available in the vault at the time of my recording this. She is available for $25 US, whatever that converts to for you. I've briefly gone over her in my going over all of the planeswalkers for new Capenna, but I'll really quickly gloss over her abilities one more time now that I've played with her. So she does have a passive from the new set, and I'll go over the passive in just a minute. You just, for some reason, in the vault section, you can't actually select the passive and read it. But her abilities are as follows. The first ability is Halo Infusion. You're going to buff a creature you control +2/+2 permanently. And then that creature is going to gain an evergreen at random between Flying, Vigilance, Lifelink, First Strike, and Shield Counter 1. Now, if you use this ability on a creature that already has one of those evergreens, it is possible that the random evergreen that Elspeth will try to assign to that creature is an evergreen that it already has, at which point the second part of the ability will fizzle. So if you already have a creature with flying and then you use this ability, Halo Infusion, on that creature with flying, it is possible that she will try to give it flying again, instead of prioritizing giving that creature Vigilance, Lifelink, First Strike, or Shield Counter 1. So that alone, I think, makes the first ability not as viable. And then it just, if the creature gained like all of those evergreens, it would be good. But without being able to gain all or even multiple of those evergreens, or even prioritizing an evergreen that it doesn't already have, I would suggest instead sticking with the bottom two abilities, which are actually both phenomenal abilities. So the second ability, Shining Bulwark, is the best example of creature or support fetch that we have on a mono-white planeswalker right now. So with Shining Bulwark, you're going to pick one of the first 4 creatures or supports from your library, fetch it, and give it full mana. Then you're going to create the Protection Provenance token, and that token is going to gain 1 shield. The Protection Provenance token is an enchantment support. It has 2 shields, and then when the support's gem is matched, another random card you control gets shield counter 1. If you've used the third ability, Graceful Saviors, and you have met the requirements for it to gain the Heroism emblem, then you will actually give it shield counter 2 instead. So the shield counter, by the way, I don't think I went over, right? Shield counter is actually a really phenomenal evergreen. It's a brand new evergreen with new Capenna. It works a lot like Indestructible does in paper Magic. So it makes it so that if the creature would take damage, it doesn't take that damage. And if it would die, it doesn't die. So like if you use World Wipe or some kind of destruction, white happens to have a lot of World Wipe destruction, and the creature and one of your creatures or multiple of your creatures has shield counter, then those creatures will actually lower by 1 counter on their shield. It says shield counter 1, but the shield counters can go up. So it can go up from shield counter 1 to shield counter 2 to shield counter 3. And then anytime that creature would die or take damage, it goes down by 1. So it will save your creatures from World Wipe, which is absolutely fantastic. So the Protection Provenance token itself is actually fairly useful, but the real bread and butter of Shining Bulwark is that you can fetch just one of the first 4 creatures or supports. And since there are so many really good creatures and supports in the game right now, especially in white, it means that you can fetch Teferi, you can fetch Prismatic Bridge, you can fetch Gem Conversion, you can fetch one of your super-powered angels, I don't know, Angel of Destiny, Tiamat, whatever. There's just, I know that Tiamat's not an angel, but I just mean that you can fetch a lot of combo pieces, and so it makes a lot of decks work really well. The third ability, Graceful Saviors, is going to create 4 angel tokens. Those angel tokens are 4/4 flying tokens. They do not have vigilance, so they're just your vanilla 4/4 flying tokens. And then non-token creatures you control are going to get a permanent +1/+1 buff. You're going to create the Protection Provenance token, same thing as the second ability. And then if you control 2 or more buffed creatures or cards with gained evergreens, then the Protection Provenance token is going to gain the Heroism emblem. Now, I'm going to be real, I have not yet gotten that token to gain the Heroism emblem in probably a solid 40 plus matches with Elspeth. And it's not that I haven't, that I've been trying to get it and I just haven't gotten it. It's just that there hasn't really been a reason to give it that, because I'm always spamming the second or the third ability. So I'm really not using her first ability. I think I've used it twice. Once just to test it out, to see if creatures would try to regain evergreens, and then the other time was because I was 2 damage off from killing my opponent, and so it was guaranteed to kill my opponent. So her passive, we actually have to dip out of the exclusive section, and we actually have to go into my Planeswalkers. I think it would actually be a really nice quality of life fix, just given that we are getting a lot of Planeswalkers with passives, for us to be able to see them in the vault. Now, you'll see that I haven't actually claimed the beginner deck. That's just because it makes it easier for me to find Elspeth in the Planeswalker section, because I have so many Planeswalkers. So Respondent Blessings is her passive, and it makes it so that when a card you control gets buffed or gains an evergreen, a random support you control gains 1 shield. And then this can only happen once per turn. So it can just enhance your supports, make them a little bit more difficult to destroy, which is nice because her Protection Provenance token only has 2 shields. So this is going to make it so that you can give them a little bit more. Now, the other exclusive in the vault right now, it happens to be the Halo Fountain. Now, you'll see that it's in this deck right here that I have with Elspeth, and I'll get into that in just a minute. But Halo Fountain is a 12 mana support artifact, and it has, at the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to white. And then it has a whole bunch of other abilities based on white gems getting matched. So when you perform a white match 3, if you control 2 or less non-creature tokens, you're going to create a Celestia Citizen token. Those tokens are just 1/1 vanilla tokens, so there's nothing really special about them. I tried to tap on it, but it was no. Just as true to the Celestia Guild, it is white and green. And then otherwise, you're going to reinforce your first creature with Alliance until end of turn. But more importantly are the when you match white 4 and white 5. So when you perform a white match 4, you're going to draw a card and give it 9 mana. And when you perform a white match 5, you're going to gain 10 loyalty. Now, these extra effects are on top of all the mana that you're going to gain for making your gem matches, which is really cool. I really, really liked Halo Fountain, especially with Elspeth, because Elspeth is a Planeswalker who has really fantastic abilities that you're going to want to use fairly often, and their loyalty costs are very reasonable at 13 and 16 for her second and third ability respectively. So with having the extra gem conversion from Halo Fountain along with other converters, I found that it was pretty easy to make the white match 4 or white match 5 on a lot of turns. And so I was able to make some really cool plays where I was able to use her third ability on back-to-back turns, or I was just able to load up my hand and give those cards mana. So this is definitely a very useful card. It's a very good card. It's a card that at some point you're going to want to have in your collection. You don't have to buy it. You can just wait for it to become craftable in booster crafting for the next set. If you're not a person who spends money, it's not going to break the game or anything. However, it is an absolutely phenomenal card to have in your collection. So if you are a person who does spend money, this is one that is worth it. This is a good card. So for this next segment, I want to go over how to build around new Elspeth. And so I want to talk a little bit about her abilities and how it's going to relate to how you're going to want to build around her. So I actually found that Elspeth is a really fun Planeswalker to make an Angel Tribal deck. And so there were a number of cards that came out in New Capenna, and also that have come out in recent sets, for that matter, that are really, really strong Angel cards that will definitely benefit from the use of her third ability to create 4 Angel tokens. So my favorite card to pair with Elspeth is Giada, Font of Hope. So this is a new rare from New Capenna. If you've gotten this card, then I think you can pair this with Elspeth and have a really fun time playing with this Planeswalker. So she makes it so that when an angel creature enters the battlefield under your control, it gets a permanent +X buff, where X is the other angel creatures you control, including their reinforcements. So the more angel tokens you start getting down, and we have a lot of things that make angel tokens right now, the more powerful those angel tokens are going to get. You'll see in the footage that I was able to get my angels up to over 100 power very, very easily. With Giada and Elspeth's third ability, and that's more than enough to kill an opposing Planeswalker or even just smash some PvE events. So Giada is an absolutely phenomenal pairing with this Planeswalker. Another one is the Mythic Amaria's Call from the Zendikar set. It's going to create 2 angel tokens, and this is going to actually... it's going to be the same kind of token that Elspeth makes with her third, and it's also going to create the Amaria Shattered Skyclave token, which is just a convert 3 to white and increase your white mana bonus by 1. So definitely really, really nifty. Anything that's going to make the same kind of angel token is going to be really good. So the deck that you actually see on the screen right now is the first deck that I tried with this Planeswalker, and then I kept tinkering around, and then I just kept coming back to this deck because I just loved playing with this deck so much. To highlight some of the other new cards that are in the deck, I've got Void Rend, which is a new removal card. I've got Endless Detour, which is also another removal card. It has a whole bunch of text, but it's removal. And then the other stuff is all older stuff. The Angel of Destiny is just sort of like a superpower card that I can throw in. I can fetch with Elspeth's second ability if I want, and then make mayhem happen. So yeah, some kind of Angel Tribal is definitely the way that I would personally suggest playing with this Planeswalker, as I found it to be the most fun way. However, you could also, as I mentioned, do something else. You could run a dragon deck using Tiamat, use Elspeth's second ability to fetch for Tiamat, and then just start going ham with all of the other dragons that you're going to fetch with that. So let's go ahead, take a look at the gameplay with Elspeth and see her in action. This first match was actually the very first match that I played with Elspeth Resplendent. So you'll see that there's some rusty plays in here by me, maybe some suspect ones, but it was just me getting used to the Planeswalker. For example, that 5 match on the left. The other thing that I thought was really fun about this match is I'm up against Bongo the Grey, who is a very active member of the community, who is also one of my patrons, and is just an all-around phenomenal player. So it was really cool to run up against him. So you'll see that the way that I'm playing this is I am prioritizing getting out the Halo Fountain and then getting out Giada. And that generally tends to be how I like to play. Simply, I want to try and get gem conversion down, and then I want to try and get some piece of my combo or whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish with my deck. So Giada is definitely the first angel that you're going to want to have down. She is by far the best one that you're going to want to have. So you'll also notice that Bongo is running some legacy cards, hence the Ball Lightning coming to say hello to my face. So this is definitely a lot more scary than your run-of-the-mill match, because I am running a standard deck in the Legacy Training Grounds. So I actually, when I was recording the video, or when I was playing, there wasn't a standard training ground option. So I wound up running this. So here you'll see that I'm going to make the black and a white match, and I destroyed some of the activated gems. Those activated gems are Giada's gems, and they're going to give 3 mana to angels in my hand. So the angel that's in my hand is Angel of Destiny, so that's why the Angel of Destiny wound up getting mana from that swap. Now here I'm going to go ahead, draw a card with Teferi. I get more gem conversion, which is great. I definitely need that right now. I'm actually feeling a little bit worried just because I am up against Legacy Calamity, so I'm kind of assuming that there's a possibility that my opponent is running a Hazoret's Undying Fury and deploy the Gatewatch. I know that Bongo has a full collection, so this isn't a situation where I'm up against like the general unknown. And just watching this footage over, just seeing my matches kind of hurts me. My gem swaps. This was like one of my first matches in like a month or so. I don't know that a month is a long time, but I just haven't been able to really play. So I'm hoping that, you know, with the new set and everything, and I'll be able to get back into things a little bit more. So we've got Giada here. On the battlefield, we've got our third ability with Elspeth, which is great. And now here, I would actually rather get Ameria's Call down, if I can, before I get the Angel of Destiny down. So you'll see that the first angel goes up to 5, the second angel goes up to 11, third one to 18, and the fourth one to 26. So normally these angels would be at 2020. However, they get a little bit more powerful than that. So you'll see that my Giada actually gets the shield counter 1. That's what the evergreen is above legendary, the little yellow evergreen. And I got that for matching the Sacred Provenance token. So I got the Sacred Provenance token for activating Elspeth's third ability. And so now you'll see this is where things get really out of hand. So as I make more angel tokens, I have a lot of angels on the battlefield. And so they're going to start buffing up really, really quickly, really, really easily. And so this is where I'm just going to be able to kill my opponent. So I'm going to go ahead and play another Giada. I'm going to save up the removal with the Endless Detour. I'm going to pull it on up in my hand just a little bit. I'm going to try and get a little bit more gem conversion down also, just because getting that more gem conversion down means that maybe, just maybe, I can get to my third ability again, which would be pretty fantastic. I'm feeling a little bit nervous because Bongo has some full mana cards in hand, but doesn't do anything with them there, which is really good for me. And you'll see on the top left that I get a 5 match for white. So I do have the Halo Fountain down, so you'll notice that it's going to give me the loyalty boost here. So Halo Fountain does indeed give you a massive loyalty boost for a 5 match. So I'm going to go ahead and take that 5 match. And so you'll see that it gives me enough loyalty to be able to activate my third ability again. So I drop another Halo Fountain. I'm going to play the Endless Detour to get rid of some of Bongo's stuff. I'm going to activate my third ability again. And then now you'll see that the angels are going up by 10, 11, 12, and 13 power instead of 4. So this will definitely be enough to get rid of the Legacy Calamity. Definitely more than enough for that matter. I'm going to play the other Angel of Destiny from my hand. Just play out, why not? It's going to boost the angel to 30, which is going to hit for 60, and that's game over. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Super smooth match. This second match is a little bit of a longer match, and you'll see that I'm running a Pauper Plus deck in this particular match. So none of the cards that I wind up playing are of the Mythic rarity. I might have put Halo Fountain in, but I don't think so. I think for this one, I was just trying to play Pauper Plus. But you'll notice that even though it takes me a little bit longer to beat my opponent, it's not because I don't have powerful cards. There are a ton of really powerful cards in the uncommon and rare range right now. And so, yes, I do know that I'm running Teferi in this, but this is where you get to see the absolute brokenness of something like Sigarda's Imprisonment. So if you haven't been playing with that card, you definitely should be. You'll see that I'm using Kill Shot, which is a new removal card from new Capenna. Really, really like that one. It's very, very cool. You'll also notice that my gem matching is going to be a lot better this match. By this point, I had played probably, 20, 30 matches with Elspeth already, and so I had already gotten used to the swing of things. So this is definitely much more polished gameplay than the cruder gameplay from the first match. If you're wondering why I chose to keep that first match, it was because I was up against Bongo, and so it was just sort of added fun for me to be going up against someone that I recognized. I actually did have a few matches against Main Loop, if you guys are familiar with Main Loop. If you're not, you should be. Main Loop also has recently started making YouTube videos about Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest. And so if you want to look for another content creator who's putting out content on Puzzle Quest, then Main Loop is definitely a good one to check out. It's Main Loop, no spaces. Anywho. So here you'll notice that I'm trying to prioritize getting gem conversion down. Gem conversion is really going to make the dream work here. I have a ton of gem conversion in this deck. Once again, Elspeth's abilities are very, very good, and so you're going to want to try and get those abilities to go off as much as possible. So I'm going to get the Aegonjo. Again, I am just playing it because that happens to be what I drew from Teferi. And so at this stage, I want to try and get the Knight of the White Orchid down. I could activate one of Teferi's abilities here, so I'll have to throw something away. It generally tends to be a better idea to activate Teferi's abilities than to not activate Teferi's abilities. I have 2 more copies of Teferi in my hand, which is definitely pretty nifty. So I can take advantage of that. I actually chose the gem match that I did there, hoping that it would cause a cascade of some sort, or that the Knight of the White Orchid would convert in my favor, but it did not because it's a butt face. So here I'm going to be using my second ability. I want my Valkyrie Harbinger. That is the power card of this particular deck. That card makes it so that if you have full life at the end of any player's turn, you're going to create a 4/4 flying vigilant token. So that's definitely the power card for this particular deck. And so this is a deck where you'll notice that I'm actually going to be activating my second ability before I'm activating my third ability. Simply, I'm trying to get the pieces of my deck to be able to beat down my opponent. So I have a whole bunch of stacks on Teferi here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use my third ability. I'm missing one more piece right now of this deck, which is the Angel leader, just because I would like to be able to make a whole bunch of different angel tokens if at all possible. So I do want to try and pull that up. So I do have the Secret Rendezvous. I was hoping that maybe I would draw it from that, or maybe I would draw it on my next turn. But at the very least, I am going to start getting some angel tokens down on the battlefield. So you'll see that I'm getting one every turn. You get one on your turn. You get one on your opponent's turn. This angel is absolutely insane. It's really, really good. So I'm going to use Teferi's ability first. You'll notice that I do not wind up getting my angel here. So I'm going to go ahead and activate my second ability again. And there it is. There's the Legion Angel. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. And now that I have the Legion Angel, now I can actually go ahead and start activating my third ability. So I have the Valkyrie, I have the Legion Angel. You'll see that my second ability has made it a heck of a lot easier than it would otherwise be. I'm obviously going to be giving flying to my Knight because it's already got Defender and First Strike. So flying Defender and First Strike is just an absolutely fantastic combination to have, and why not make it an angel, you know? More angels is always lovely. At least, you know, for me, I love Angel Tribal, so. You'll see that the Knight winds up getting the shield counter from the Protection Provenance token. Teferi is going to exile my opponent's creature. I'm going to go ahead and activate my first ability there, and now I can use my third ability pretty safely to get more angel stacks on the Legion Angel leader thing. But that's definitely going to improve my power a heck of a lot. I've got two more Knights of the White Orchid to drop down here for another 8 power against my opponent. So I really don't need to actually be like going through my hand as much here. I can just go ahead and more safely just play what I have. So I'm just dumping stuff just for giggles here. Try and use Teferi's ability, but I've already used it, so it doesn't matter, right? So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take our gem match here. Try and go for as much loyalty as possible in the event that I don't kill my opponent here. Try and make it so that on my next turn I can activate my third again, but we'll see. We're close. We're very, very close, right? So our Legion Angel's up to 61 power, and then the Ashiok decides to be an absolute bum and use their second ability to bounce my Legion Angel, but it doesn't matter. It's game over here. So I am going to go ahead and swing for the win after I go ahead and fetch another Legion Angel here. So you'll see that even though I did lose my Legion Angel, I'm able to get another one really easily from Elspeth's second ability. I'm going to go ahead and boost my other Angel this time because why not? I mean, the opponent's dead anyways, so, you know, just do what you got to do. Already used Teferi's ability. Go ahead and make the final match and call this a game. So really smooth matches, both of them. It's you can make some really powerful decks with her. Her abilities make the game a lot easier. In conclusion, Elspeth Resplendent is a much better Planeswalker than I thought she would be. I very much like her second ability, but I like her third ability a lot more than I thought I would as well. The only thing that's really keeping Elspeth from being an absolute top tier Planeswalker that I think is like a must have are her mana gains. So the +4/+4/+3 definitely give her a lot of flexibility on the gem board. However, not having a higher individual bonus to anything definitely is hampering her from being better. So Puzzle Master Ajani, for example, has +7 to white. And being able to get 10 mana is for every one of your white matches is just so much better than getting 7 mana. I know that it doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is a big deal, because where Elspeth is not able to get down gem converters with just 1 match, or removal even with just 1 match, Ajani is. And so she plays a little bit more slowly than Ajani does. Now, with that said, I loved playing with Elspeth. If you're a person who has an abundance of mana crystals, then I think that she's absolutely worth the pickup. If you're a person who really likes playing with angels, then you're absolutely going to love this Planeswalker. Angels happen to be my favorite tribe in Magic, and so I've really enjoyed playing with Elspeth. As I said, much more than I thought I would. So she's a very cool Planeswalker. I love her addition to the game. If I had to guess on a tier, I mean, she's a very solid Planeswalker, but I think she's probably somewhere in the B tier. She's not a top tier walker, but she's still very good, if that makes any sense. So, as for the other card, Halo Fountain, the exclusive, I should say, the Halo Fountain is a very good card. It's definitely one that you're ultimately going to want in your collection. It's not one that you need to have, or you're going to be like, out of luck. But as I mentioned earlier, if you're a person who's willing to put money in the game, this happens to be a good exclusive to pick up. If you want to just wait for booster crafting, then that's totally fine too. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.